And this is why I feel sad when people at B2 level say, no, I'm gonna finish with English and then I'm gonna start learning Italian or whatever. Like,
You're never
you're
going to
never
finish
finished
with
with
English.
English. Exactly. True story.
A
Look
little
at us.
spoiler for you.
Yes.
You'll never be done.
Still. Like, English sounds evil. You know what? English sounds evil. It's like, you never be.
It's just the most common one. Tai, can you say that you are done with German?
Of course not.
So it's the same. Just English is the most common one. That's it.
Mhm. Okay, so your first foreign language is evil.
And needy.
And needy.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of our podcast where language enthusiasts talk about learning and stuff.
It's three of us here.
I'm Zoya.
I'm Taya.
And I'm Ksusha.
In this chaotic world, we're all in need of safe space to speak one's mind, laugh, and enjoy life. Because that's the only way to stay sane while
Zooming
through
chaos.
Yay! I got I got a glimpse of Zoe's tea and I decided that I will hold mine as well.
Taya's like,
sorry,
what
you're left out.
I feel left out. Like, where's my cup of tea?
Only got a glass of water.
Not bad. Not good enough, but not bad.
That's shaming.
All right. Yeah. I will stop that. What are we talking about today, girls?
Still talking about learning languages, but
Alright.
when is it fine to start learning another foreign language? Let's put it this way.
Like one more.
One more.
Yet another.
Yet another. It's for us like yet another. It's I think when girls come to you and say like, well, I decided to start learning Swedish, they're like, it makes sense. Okay. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. You know what it means? It's actually an idiom.
It's like you fail.
No.
Right? No?
It means die.
Oh.
Another one bites the dust means somebody died.
Completely fail. Failed life.
Oh my god.
Maybe life failed you. I don't know. So yeah, and I want to explain like how we came to this topic. I think we've noticed that our students are kind of, let's say, not afraid but anxious about learning another language apart from, I'd say, English from my side, maybe English, German, right? Something like this. So besides like their main foreign language, they're like, well, so okay, I'll explain again. I always ask this question, like, what foreign language would you like to learn? And they like make a joke like English, and I'm like, apart from English, like, and I'm like, but I'm not done with English.
Are
I'm
there
like,
any other ones?
Yeah. And they're like, but I'm not done with English. Like, I want to like master language. First of all, master English, and then I can like start learning another foreign language. And this is where it comes from. So first of all, you don't have to master one language to start learning another one, but we have some thoughts on it when it's okay for you to learn language. Again, it's used loosely. Like, okay, we're not like, language police. No, it's not okay. You're breaking the law. So, yeah. What are your thoughts, guys?
I actually am torn. I don't have any immediate answer right now. I just remember my story when I started to learn Spanish again. Sorry, I know only two foreign languages, so it's either English or Spanish stories for me. So when I started to learn Spanish, I remember that my head was not exploding, but it was always messing with me because every time, a couple of first months, I guess, and my Spanish teacher asks me something in Spanish, I was immediately answering in English. And I still had that problem that all that interferential, language
Interference?
interference, yes,
Mm-hmm.
interference.
Yeah.
Okay, so all this language interference, it is still there. I still have it every day of my life, but at that point it was critical because I couldn't remember anything in Spanish, and I think my mind was just like, okay, this is still foreign language, so why don't you use that? And I was like, no, that's not the one, but it is foreign. Go, I'm helping you. And I was like, no. So I remember it was a mess at the beginning.
How old were you when you started learning Spanish?
I was 18. I entered the university,
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of learning English from my kindergarten, but actually learning English during 2 years with my tutor. And I had around B2, I guess, at that moment for English. And I had high level of English. And I guess that's why it was interfering with my Spanish. But it was a mess, I remember at the very beginning.
Is it a mess now? Or
Yes,
it's
but I
become
kind
better?
of made peace with it. It's not as messy as it was because I can kind of differentiate these two languages now. So I understand that, okay, this, I can remember some words in Spanish first, but I understand and I keep in mind that this is Spanish and I need to put it aside and need to find English one. Sometimes it goes easier, sometimes it goes more difficult, but the main difference is that right now I see the difference between them two. And at the very beginning, I was like, still foreign, works for me.
What about you, Zoya? When did you start learning your second foreign language?
I was also 18 because I was, well, 17 or 18, I don't remember exactly. When I was in my second year at university, it was German. Uh,
Hello.
hello. But
Hello.
You say that really good.
yeah.
Thank you.
Um, but I'm just trying to think like what is the best age to start learning another foreign language. And like it was fine, like I was mature enough to handle a second foreign language, but I remember us going to Germany to study German just for a month. Just for a month. After our
German
like
in a month.
for like after our second year in university at university. So but we still spoke English, unfortunately, most of the time, Russian and English,
Yeah, it's always that
because
story.
we weren't like fluent in German. Of course, we had like around elementary maybe, and they all put us in one group, I guess, saying that, well, you're all Russian, you all sound the same. Go and learn with your own kind. I'm joking, but yeah, and then when we were in our third year, third third year, we started learning Spanish. And then it was like, yeah, hello again. This is how like I guess we like attracted each other, right? I attracted you guys, German and Spanish. So yeah, and it was a bit of a mess because first of all, it's from a different language group. Um, and yeah, and since then I can't wrap my head around Romance or Roman languages, whatever you choose to call them. I just like it's a mystery to me how they work. Yeah. So, anyways, Tai, what about
Bring
you?
him here. So your question was at what age to start another language, or because I understood it like at what level of the previous foreign language you can start another one.
It's the same question. Like, okay, so I was 17 or 18 when I started learning German, which is my second foreign language. And my English was, I think, around B2 as well. Maybe I'm not gonna, praise myself, say I was C1 already. No, like B2. And then I was like, like German at elementary level, English I think might be still the same, B2, and then beginner in Spanish, which I still am. So like, yeah, something like this. So, and I was a bit older, maybe 20. I don't know.
So did it work out for you for German and for Spanish? Did you notice so there was a difference like
For me,
because between
as
the
I
levels?
mentioned, it's more about what language you're learning. But it might be my like individual character trait that I switch between two, as for me, different languages um, worse than I do it between two similar languages, because German and English for me are not the same, but they make sense to me.
Mhm.
I deal I can't deal with the Romance languages because I have a sad story with French, and then I have also a bit of a better story thanks to Ksusha with Spanish, and I actually find
But still
myself.
some emotional baggage.
I guess I don't know what you mean, but okay. But I mean, like I sometimes still like catch myself remembering some words, but like I don't have this, I guess, love for it. This is why I feel like I failed at both French and Spanish, but I still fancy that in the future I will continue learning German. Don't know what for what particular reason, like especially now that it's very popular to learn a language if you're moving to a certain country where this language is spoken. And I'm like, is somebody going to move me to Germany? No.
Move you.
Am I gonna move myself to Germany?
Put
I
me
don't think
back
so.
to Russia.
so yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's enough with
Okay.
me. What about Thai? Thai, so your first language was your first foreign language was, I
It's
forget,
German.
German or English?
German.
Well, it was English
It was
actually. I
English.
started, it's a sad story because I started with English with just simple words, simple questions or answers. I don't know, like
Sentences.
this sentences like hello, how are you, I'm fine, thank you, and you, like this. But it all started in the kindergarten,
Hmm.
and then
Which
it
was
was,
very, very effective, right?
no, it was just fun, I still remember.
Sarcasm.
Yes, no, okay, but I still remember this tutor. It was a grandmother of my group mates
Hmm.
from the kindergarten, and she came to us for just 30 minutes, and she was like, look at the pencil. What color is the pencil? And we say, green. What color is this pencil? Yellow. And
I
that's it.
want to
It
be a
was,
kindergarten teacher. If that's all it takes.
well, why
Some
not?
job opportunities.
No, I'm joking. Sorry. Yes, go on.
No, well, it was just okay for this age.
Hmm.
Like, okay,
Appropriate.
appropriate, right? And then at the age of 9, yes, 9, I started to learn German. You remember the story? If not,
Ich
you
weiß
can watch
nicht.
the first. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
natürlich.
Natürlich.
Right. So it was just like a second language, but it felt like the first one. the first foreign language, because I
Oh, it's so
started to
nice.
learn it just I don't know how to put it.
Like
Um,
deliberately, like put in thought into that.
yes, consciously, deliberately, and
It
this is
felt
my
like
first
home.
language. Yes, from the very
Hmm.
beginning. And after that, I uh, got back to English because I was learning German and English at school. Um, and German was far more better than my
Wait a
English.
second, German and English at school?
Yes,
Oh my god,
parallel. So it was just like,
so cool.
yeah.
You're like the school children right now when they are.
Yeah, I heard some even like study Spanish at some schools. I'm like, okay,
And my 12 years old love is
mm, sure.
said in Spanish.
Hmm. It sounds a bit
Yes.
wrong when you said they might report you to the
No,
police.
no, I just am
platonic,
very proud of
platonic love.
him. Platonic love, yes.
Oh my god, yeah. So
Hmm.
well, I got back to English, and the deliberate part of learning English was again at the university, at the first in the first course, in the first grade
First year.
year, in the
Mhm.
first year, sorry. And I started at the uni. I started with the elementary group together,
Mm.
learning the second language, English. And
But were you
I thought,
elementary?
I think so.
Mm.
I think so, yes. Maybe more pre intermediate, but I never regretted that I started with the elementary group, because I reached the level of C1 um, at the end of the fourth year. So
Hmm.
it was okay. We had so many um, lessons and so much stuff. We did that in English, and I'm
So
very
Taya was
grateful for
the
that.
learning student and I was the social one.
Which, like,
She
guys, I
learned.
just I just want to mention that when I met you, you were the like vice versa. Ty was mostly like socially active and stuff, and Ksusha were like studying kind. And now you're telling me that it was like vice versa when you were
We had
students.
different stages of our lives,
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
saying
socializing
you
stage.
have to be like static. Yeah, yeah, we change, we are changing, whatever. But yeah, just fun to think about it. And Japanese, how
Oh
old are you?
yeah, Japanese. I was. It was the beginning of 2020. What's that? 26,
Mm-hmm.
25, 25 to 26.
Okay, after 20. It will work.
20
Mid twenties,
plus.
mid twenties.
Mid
Let's stick
20s,
to it.
yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it matters at what age or what level you start another language?
Of
Mm-hmm.
course, it
Like, should you
matters.
master the previous one before you
Mm-hmm.
start
Mm-hmm.
a new one?
It made sense for me, so I think you should master for just for at least B2 level, so you
Mhm.
can understand how the language works, and you can put your background story with the first language to your second foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do that at the elementary level of your first foreign language, uh, it may end up um, em- in a mess with your second language.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
May interfere somehow.
Yeah, with your
Yes, like bilingual people, and you can have like a porridge in your head, is
mess.
a mess in your
Yeah.
head. Yes,
Hmm.
so I
And
have
of
it.
course, your mother tongue interferes at any stage of your
Of
another,
course,
your other foreign language. So like, no,
it's
maybe not so
constant.
much actually, not so much as what Ksusha was saying about like it's foreign, just speak me. I think what language did we talk about when you said like speak me, speak me? We said like your English is a bit needy, I think, yeah? When you try to
Yeah.
speak Spanish and English like pops up and you're like
Mhm.
your English sounds needy. So yeah, and yeah, I agree that you should reach a certain level when you start learning another foreign language, but I wouldn't say B2, I'd say B1 plus, which is intermediate. I think it's fine. And this is why I feel sad when people at B2 level say, no, I'm gonna finish with English and then I'm gonna start learning Italian or whatever other language." Like,
You're never
you're
gonna
never
finish
finished
with
with
English.
English. Exactly. True story.
A
Look
little
at us.
spoiler for you.
Yes.
You'll never be done.
Still. Like, English sounds evil. You know what? English sounds evil. It's like you'll never be
It's just
finished.
the most common one. Uh, Tai, can you say that you are done with German?
Of course not.
So it's the same. Just English is the most common one. That's it.
Hmm. Okay, so your
So
first foreign language is evil.
And needy.
And needy.
I guess it's yeah, you need to understand and you need to keep in mind that the language is a live organism, if we can put it this way, and it's always changing. It keeps on changing all the time, and you learn just the new version of it. It's like a person somehow. It's ever changing, and there is no ending in its story. It's okay. You just make peace with it, and it's like okay. I guess I'm more inclined to Zoe's opinion here because I believe you need to get that kind of sense of language. You need to understand how it works, how it ticks, and after that, you move on to the next one. It still will be needy. There is no coming back from that. But I feel that in this case, you will again differentiate them somehow. What helps me with Spanish and English, because one is from German group and the other one from Romance group, whatever it is, and they are built a bit differently. Yes, we have conjunctions, we have plural forms, I don't know, and changes in all the what is it? Adjectives and adverbs if we talk about Spanish, and we have nothing about that in English. So I just saw the difference between them, kind of like a small table in my mind. That helped. But still, they're going to mess up, at least for me. Again, I guess it's just some traits of my mind, well, some special feature that is um, at the back of my mind. I believe that I just can mess them up. And that's it. And yes, English is a bit needier than Spanish because I still catch myself when somebody is asking me in a foreign language and it's not English and it's not Spanish. Uh, I start to talk. No, actually, I start to talk Spanish.
Mm.
I start to talk Spanish, and I don't know why because it is super illogical because more people will know English than Spanish, but somehow it's like, okay, it's a foreign, so not English. Let's go. I don't know why, it just works this way. Cannot explain it.
I
I
thought you were
guess.
gonna say English, and like the image popped up in my mind. It was like English, like shh, I'm gonna handle it. Let me. But I guess it's your Spanish, like I'm gonna take it. Like I'm gonna handle it. In English,
Yeah,
it's like I know I can do it. No. So I guess your Spanish is now needed, not English.
I guess they are just like taking roles,
Hmm.
taking turns. I believe that Spanish maybe is more social for me, like in my head. It's more about because Spanish speaking people are very upbeat and very open and
Lively.
very lively. Yes, so maybe that's connected somehow this way, my
Hmm.
subconscious. That's it. Or maybe Spanish is just getting stronger and like That's my place now.
Yeah. I feel bad for you, English now. Like curled up in the corner somewhere. Like, you use me only
No.
for work.
Or to study.
Thank you. Thank you for podcasting English,
Yes,
at least.
at least.
Talking about getting a grip of the language, I remember again my 12 years old student. He is at school learning two languages, and they have the Spanish from the fifth grade. Yes, they
Mm-hmm.
started, and I think for him it works well. But first of all, because I'm his teacher, joke. Um, because he already got a grip of English. He's using English with in his video games. He's chatting. He is actually not only chatting like texting, but with the voice where when
Messages.
they are not messages, but just when they connect in Discord and they have like a call
Mm-hmm.
somehow
Mm-hmm.
during the Minecraft or whatever they are playing, and he's talking in English there, and he's watching YouTube in English, and he actually has around B1, and he's very good at that. So I guess that helped him with Spanish, and he can put them a bit aside.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, yeah, somehow around B1, or just that feeling that you can see how it works
Mm-hmm.
with that language.
Exactly. I think like what they're trying to introduce now at schools, that school students finish school and they know two languages, is a great idea, but
Mhm.
they like you need to do a better job with English then, or introduce Spanish or another foreign language maybe later,
Mhm.
like I don't know, eighth grade, ninth, whatever, maybe even only like 10th or 11th grade
Mhm.
or class or whatever, so that they at least know how English works. So I guess English is still the first foreign language, almost. Well, maybe German
Yes.
somewhere, and French, or maybe French somewhere is the first. Anyways, so like another foreign language is just a bit later, so that they yes understand how a language works at least, because we do not learn as Russian native speakers would not learn Russian the same way. We do not start with rules; we start with just speaking, and as a school subject, the foreign language are learned with mostly first rules, and it's these are different approaches. So yeah, so you just need to take it into account, but who does? No, almost nobody does. And yeah, when they leave school they're like, well, finish school, like, well, yeah, I studied
There's
it,
also
but
not much language practice at school.
oh, don't even start. Yes, not enough, not enough. This is why almost everybody has a tutor of some sorts, which is good for us.
As tutors.
Yes. So yeah, you should like, and but again, I have adult students who don't necessarily understand how language works. Well, when they come to me, then I explain, of course. But like then and yeah, I agree that after some time, when you've got a grip on one language, you should, if you want again, so you should, not must, you should learn another language if you're interested. And what do you think about what kind of second foreign language people should study? Should it be similar to the first one, or completely different, or it doesn't matter? What's your opinion on it?
I think it doesn't matter. Maybe it could help you understand better and progress faster if they are alike, like
Mhm.
English German. It's a good couple of
It is, it
languages.
is.
Yes, or maybe Japanese Chinese
Mm,
could also work out because, as you already know, some hieroglyphs are similar and they have similar meanings, but they are read differently. So it's a whole other story. But if
mm.
they're alike, it makes a learner much easier to understand something and to take parallel,
Make parallels.
make
Make parallels.
parallels, make parallels
Mhm.
between them. So it could be easier.
Mhm.
I am not sure. It may be easier on one side, but on the other side, if you don't have that grip of language, it actually may create more mess because you are changing the words. If I'm talking about Spanish and Italian, which are very like,
Mhm.
or Portuguese even, yeah, because in Portuguese you just have more sh, as I
Mhm.
guess. I don't know Portuguese, it's just my immature look on that. You may confuse them and it can create more confusion. So it can backfire. It can work
Mhm.
out and it can be a plus for you. So whatever it is, it
Mhm.
can be an advantage. Yes, an advantage or leverage that you have, or it can backfire. I guess it can work two ways. As for me, as for my take, you just learn the language that you like. It doesn't matter what group it is.
If only it was that simple for school students.
For school students, yes, maybe that's the ideal situation that is in some kind of vacuum.
Mhm.
But it was one of the reasons why I chose our faculty with SAI, because in our faculty we chose the language. We were not
Mhm.
assigned it, but we chose it.
Mhm.
And I remember there was at some point I was choosing between our faculty and GIMOA. And in GIMOA they were saying, okay, so this year we are assigning Chinese and it was some Arabic. I don't
Mhm.
remember which one. So
Mhm.
some Arabic from Arabic group, and it was like, I just don't want it. It's
Mhm.
like it's not working for me. It's not working
Mhm.
out.
But you
So
don't
it
have
was
the
one.
choice. Someone
Mhm.
even can you remember the story of a sorry for interrupting you, a story of a student of Mgimo who started learning a language which is spoken only in one country in Africa or something.
Mhm.
uh, I didn't even know that a language like this
Exists.
exists.
The country existed.
Haven't heard of it. Haven't heard of it. And this guy was really disappointed because he couldn't change it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Amhar was it? Amhar language or something like this.
I guess it's connected to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and that they
Mhm.
need some representative in that country, and that's it. But I was never aiming for that path, so I
Mhm.
was looking for something that resonates with me.
Mhm.
And my go to tip is to choose what you like and what motivates you. Because I remember still my first Spanish lesson in university, and that my teacher just read a small text, and it was, Taya, you remember it. Me llamo
Me llamo
Jesús
Jesús
Bravo,
Bravo, soy profesor
de
de
español,
español de Universidad
Universidad
de Lomonosov de Moscú.
Lomonosov. Sí, sí, Estatal de Moscú. Sí. Yes, and it was, he just read that text. I didn't understand a word, but the sound,
Mhm.
I just fell in love with that. It was
Mhm.
just
Chefkiss.
such, yes, it was so
Mhm.
good. And I remember that I came back to the dorm, and I closed the door to my
Ooh.
habitación,
What
to
did
my
you?
room. I opened the book and I was just reading the
Okay.
text. I
Okay.
was reading it over and over again because I just loved the sound. I still couldn't understand the words,
Mhm.
and I remember in the second lesson he actually translated that to us, and we understood that it's just a story about the person who says like, "My name is Jesus Bravo, and I am a professor in Moscow State University." But the sound, that was just like heaven. I was on top of the world.
Everyone was doing this mantra like this because everyone caught up. Why do I remember that? Because everyone who started learning Spanish, they were reading this text aloud, and I remembered it too. Like, I don't know, you learn something by heart, like a
A poem.
verse, a poem, yes, a poem, and I learned that too. Because everyone was doing this like a mantra. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yes, yes, yes. It was kind of affirmation for all the first years.
Bueno, Jesús,
Yes, that.
bravo.
Yeah, and actually, going back to starting another language after you get a grip of the previous one, it is my general guideline. But still, if you have such motivation to start another one, I guess it will not stop you and it
Mm-hmm.
can still work out.
Exactly.
If you have that motivation, if you have that desire, and it feels like home, as Taya said about German, why not? Doesn't matter anything. Uh, there's no
No
thing
one
that
stopping
will
you.
stop you. Yes, yes, yes. Nothing will stop you.
I
Yes.
actually wanted to comment when Taya said like the German felt like home for her. I was like, well, it makes sense because English is still like this for me. And I remember the first time I've been studying British English my whole life, but I really fell in love with it when we were preparing to go to the UK to study for 1 month again. And I started like I started listening to Capital FM, which is like some radio station somewhere in
Radio
London, I
station,
guess.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and I remember I couldn't understand a word for the first month or so. I was like, "Is it? It's not the same English as I've listened to all the recordings.
What
So
was I
no, it's
Can
like,
you
learning?
talk
yes,
English?
it is British. It is British. Like, what is it? And it was truly British because there were guys from Scotland, Ireland, Wales, even there, like hosts, radio hosts, and I was like, well, this is the real British English. And then, well, it was fine in the end. It's fine. But I couldn't understand the word, but I loved it. I loved the sound, and I still love British English more than American. I made my peace with American English. I'm fine. But like I love British English, I love Australian, I love Canadian, like any kind of English is fine. British is my true love. And I'd say that German is kind of the same. I know that the first reaction from people who hear not hear even who find out that I like some kind of studied German in the past, they're like, but it's so like harsh and like sounds so tough. And I'm like,
Like horses
have
are
you
speaking, right?
yeah, but like, have you heard Russian speaking? Like, come on. It's pretty much the same. Like, just listen to yourself, like, record yourself and listen to it. So, like, yeah, I was like, no, but we actually had thought that English was, oh, sorry, that German was that, like, yes, harsh sounds. Because what did we hear? Like, Hitler speaking. Like, okay, that's another type of speech. Like, it's like totally different. But then,
It's
in
even
our
not Hochdeutsch.
not even Hochdeutsch. How could he? So, anyways,
Yeah.
but I remember in our first German class, our amazing German teacher, she played different songs for us in German and then played some recordings and then she spoke herself and it was like amazing. Just like, I don't know, I also fell in love with the sound and was like, it's beautiful. But I want to tell just a short story that actually why we didn't choose French because we also had a choice of French or German. Not a lot of languages, but we were afraid of French teacher. That's our story because we found out who like is the French teacher we had. We were going to have or something, and we saw her in the halls of our university. And we were
And
like,
she was terrifying.
no, and then
No
she still
way.
ended up teaching us, but another subject. So we still ended up with her, but not for no for a long time. So yeah, I'm still happy that I chose German. And now as I hear any Scandinavian languages, I hear something like that reminds me of German and English, and I'm like, heaven, just heaven. And I don't understand the word of Swedish, Finnish, or what Norwegian, but I still love it. So I guess for me it matters, but um again, it doesn't have to matter for people like who studying. Like it can be like, again, you can study English and then you study Chinese and you're fine. Just yeah.
Why not?
Do
Yeah.
whatever your heart tells you.
Who listens to the heart? Like, come on.
Listen
Listen
to
to
your
your gut.
heart.
Listen to your heart. Yeah. Um. Yep. That's my take on it.
Okay, so choose whatever you like. Don't procrastinate. I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wait. Oh, can I add one thing? I also wanted to mention that I think I said it somewhere in our episodes. Please do not make your children learn English just because you think that English is the best international language or whatever. It's like your child's gonna go and work for international company. You don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what's gonna happen. But just, I know if I had, mm I know, like, just let your child choose again, like play some songs for a child in different languages, and the child chooses, I don't know, what is the strange language you have? Um,
Vietnamese,
Vietnamese, yeah,
Korean.
Korean. Oh, Korean.
That sounds a bit intolerant to Korean
Why?
and Vietnamese.
I mean, strange in the meaning of like being different from the languages we are used to
Mm.
listening to, hearing, and learning, unfortunately. So yeah, just again, let your child choose. Do not insist on English, and then you can choose the language to study, and then they're gonna hate English and hate you.
And
Just
they are gonna have some troubles and
an emotional
baggage,
baggage.
that and emotional baggage
We're gonna
again.
work with. No, I'm joking, but just I'm all for like letting people do whatever they want.
That's true.
That's it.
Mm. So,
That's it.
So we can wrap it up in a good place again.
Yes.
yay.
Thank you very much for listening to our episode. We appreciate you sticking with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
And see you in next one. Bye.
Yes,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.